Yo, it's the MOPOWERZ, and we are BACKAGAIN on another fantastic Sunday, sucker-free summer day. And if this is your first time watching the MOPOWERZ, I ask that you share the information with relatives, friends, co-workers, anyone that you come into contact with. It is a magnificent way to jumpstart your conversation. And today's conversation just happens to be a very banful one. Why banful, Mo? Because residents in the city of Minneapolis is calling for the police department to be disbanded. That's right. Not only the residents of Minneapolis, but activists of Minneapolis is calling for this. More than 30 activist local groups are calling for the disbandment of the Minneapolis Police Department. Just wait for one moment, because I'm going to give you something else that's going to blow your mind in addition to what I just said. Because not only do the residents want it, not only do the activist groups want it, and like I said, there's over 30 of them, but not only do those two want it, the majority of the people who are on the city council wants the disbandment for the police department. I'm going to say that again. Even the majority of people who are on the city council of Minneapolis wants the police department to be disbanded. They say that this has been an era of brutality to the residents. Look at all of the people who have died at the hand of the police in Minneapolis. Not only are the residents concerned, but the feds are concerned, because the feds are investigating the Minneapolis Police Department for their practices, not to mention the killings, cutting off the TVs of young black men. They cut their TV off, no weapon to be found, and this was really pushed after the death of George Floyd last summer. But this summer here, a new push has come forward. And like I said, these activist groups are doing pretty well, because they have raised over $1 million. They have gotten over 20,000 signatures, which is almost twice the recommended signatures for anything to be placed on the ballot. And they got a donation from the Open Society Policy Center, which has ties to none other than the billionaire George Soros. Whew. What do you think about that? What? George Soros has ties to the very same organization that donated $500,000 to the activists and residents who want the disbandment for the police department in Minneapolis. Chief Arredondo, what do you have to say about this? Now, Chief Arredondo, from what I've been seeing and from my ins and outs of being in Minneapolis, he seems to be a very concerned commander. However, his hands are tied. He knows that he cannot go against the code of the blue. However, in the trial of, what's that white boy name who killed George Floyd? Yeah, that guy. I don't want to even say his name, because it's not even worth it. It's not even worth it. He's not worth mentioning. So I just call that white guy, that white cop, okay? They killed George Floyd. Chief Arredondo said that he was wrong. Other commanders, other lieutenants, other superiors of that guy said that he was wrong. And on top of that, they give him the little 20-some years, but he can file an appeal. He can file an appeal. What was that guy named? Chauvin dude, Derek Chauvin, that's that cat name. But anyway, right, getting back to the disbandment of the police. What do you think about that? Do you think that the police department in Minneapolis, Minnesota should be disbanded? Now, you have some residents who have concern that the crime rate is going to go up. Not to mention the fact that a drive-by took place on Lindale and Broadview last night. Lindale and Broadway, Lindale and Broadway, over there by Merwin Liquors. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. North Minneapolis, you know what I'm talking about. Lindale and Broadway. In fact about it, if you all know Drunken Monkey from Chicago, he owns a restaurant down the street. His family owns a restaurant. I hope that this drive-by shooting, where one got murdered and one got wounded, does not hurt the business. Okay? Shouts out to Drunken Monkey. But for this disbandment to take place, you Minnesotans are going to have to get on it. They are already going for the ballot in November. Are you going to be one of those who say yes for Minnesota? That's their banner right now. Yes for Minnesota, their motto, yes for Minnesota. YES, the number 4, Minnesota. Yeah, that's their motto right now. But just from my spectrum, if this does occur, which rightfully should occur, because this is the only officer, that dude, the white guy that killed George Floyd, he was the only one that has been held responsible for killing unarmed black men. He is the only ex-police, that was held accountable. Look at all of the rest of the people that were shot and killed by police that's not being held accountable. Now, while they are talking about disbanding the police, they want to replace the police department with a public safety department. A public safety department. Now, with this public safety department, it is an approach to, it's a more health approach versus a gun approach. Because you have some calls that are made to the police department. When these police come out, they immediately be aggressive towards the situation and are unable to manage the situation properly, as we can see, because somebody always get their TV cut off by the Minnesota Police Department. So with that being said, this public safety department will have other strategies to handle violent cases, whereas these police officers will be armed. Some police officers will not be armed. They will be called peace police. The peacemakers, the peace police. They won't have guns. Now, mind you, if one of those employees from the public safety department does go out and there is a case where somebody did up an itchy, what are they to do? However, the answer to that question to the Minnesotans is this: it is up to you all to police yourself, saying that you want to disband the police. Now, mind you that when you disband this police force, there's going to be a lot of white policemen very mad. And believe me, there's a great chance that they just may come back in your neighborhood at night and possibly dress like a black man, because white men has dressed as black men in a mask and shot black people. That's a known fact here in Chicago, okay? That's not even up for debate. That's not up for debate. But that's something that you all may have to worry about, because the police will do that. And seeing that there's no police to actually enforce the law, so to say, anymore, it's going to be a wild, wild west. It's going to be a wild, wild west. What do you think about George Soros being a part of this? An organization that has ties with George Soros. What do you think about that $500,000? Just think about it. You can't come outside right now and seeing that black people, and I'm going to say black people because this drive-by shooting that took place on Landale and Broadway is an area that is highly populated by black people. I'm just keeping it a buck. You all are going to have to patrol yourself. My eyes are sweaty. Oh, excuse me. You all are going to have to patrol yourself. Can you do that? Can you live without the drive-by shootings? Can you live without stealing and killing from one another? Can you live without that? Because if you can, there's a great opportunity that you will make it. If not, if you are part of those residents that are in favor of disbanding the Minneapolis Police Department, you all better band together, because there are a bunch of bad people out there who don't want it to happen. And it is these very same people who don't care, or say that they care, that the police shoots and kill unarmed black people, but yet and still they won't participate in giving their signatures so this can go on the ballot. But needless to say, like I said, they already got more than enough signatures, almost twice enough signatures for it to make the ballot in November. So if you are a Minnesotan, get involved if you want the police department to be disbanded. Is your city, or should your city police department be banned like they are pushing to do in Minneapolis? If so, leave your comments in the comment section. It's your brother, the MOPOWERZ, where knowledge is power. Remember, it is your third eye that makes you shine like jewelry. And if you haven't done so already, press the subscribe button and check out the videos below. Peace out.
Run away. Get out the fucking